Okay, today is July 2nd, 2017. It's my next video in the series. And those of you that have seen the last part, you can tell made quite a bit of progress up to this point. What I've done is mounted all the accessories on the engine, and a lot of the plumbing, a lot of the wiring, and I've temporarily bolted the subframe back to the chassis so I can do a lot of the alignments, find out where the transmission's coming through, do a lot of the wiring, things of that nature. So what I'm going to do is walk through what I've done here and point out some things that are interesting. First of all, I guess the fenders and the front core support, which you probably saw, those are new. It was so inexpensive, the old ones weren't really worth the trouble. But I did have these powder coated, the same color I've been doing all the other pieces, so that all matches, which is gloss black. But so here's the engine. You know, I've put the entire wiring harness in with the expectation that what I'll do here, where it passes through the firewall, is I'll put some type of bulkhead or some type of removable plate so that I don't have to remove the whole wiring harness every time. I'll just be able to, I'll have a hole that's big enough to feed the two connectors through and seal it at that grommet right there. But a couple things to point out with respect to the sensors. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and put in this sensor here, which I'm going to use for the gauges. But I've also put in the temperature sensor on the other side, on the other head, for the computer, which I don't think it needs it, but I put it in anyways. I don't think it hurts to have it in there. I tapped the water pump for the AN fittings for the heater hoses, as you can see. I just kind of got these dressed inside for now. I'll cut them to the proper length later when I put in the bulkhead. It'll be a 4-port bulkhead, the other two being for the AC. So when I get those in there, I'll get those custom made to the proper length. Here's a catch can I put in after looking and researching what to do with a lot of these vent lines. So what I've done here is I've tapped it off the air intake after the MAF, so it's after the metered air. It goes in here, comes back out here, where it goes into the catch can, and comes back out where the oil is caught. There's a sintered brass filter in here, and then it goes back and feeds back into the clean air back into the intake. Here's the front drive system. So I don't remember the part numbers for the hoses, but it's some that I found online. You know, I'd cut them to length. They fit really pretty good. What I did do is I got these hose clamps from Spectre. They only came in chrome, so I media blasted those and powder coated those gloss black as well. For the radiator catch, I've got an old, this was the old radiator catch can I had, but it was a little tired, so I media blasted it, powder coated it, got the sight tube there, and the line from the radiator. For the cold air intake, spent a fair amount of time trying to decide which one to do. Should I go custom? Should I not? This is one that I found that actually is designed for LS applications and first gen F bodies from Rotofab. It's a nice unit. It's not one of the cheaper ones, but it seems to be pretty good. The only problem with it, though, that I had was that what it meant was that the reservoir for the power steering didn't fit. So it ended up taking more time than I planned. What I had to do is I had to modify this bracket from the Holly kit so that I could get a hose from down here from the power steering feed, go through here, and then I just got a regular generic small can from I believe it's Spectre as well, powder coated that. I had to make my own custom bracket to locate it where I wanted it, but so as you can see here, I'm running a Hydro Boost setup from Willwood, so I've got all the lines plumbed. Nothing's really torqued down or filled yet, obviously. But the path here is it comes from the pump here up to the pressure side, and then from this pressure side down to the pressure side of the power steering box, and then this is the return side where it goes down to the return of the power steering where it's teed in, and then it feeds back through low pressure back to the bottom of the can here. I don't know if you can see it, it's underneath. But that's the basic plumbing of it. Going to mount the, here's the bleed for the clutch. I'll mount this up to the firewall here, some location. Here's the clutch fluid reservoir, the billet one. I'll probably mount that either to the right or the left of the brake booster here. And that's it. The other thing I wanted to show you was the steering. So what I've been doing a lot of work on the inside. So this steering here is an adapter I kind of had to make. It's two pieces put together. It's the Camaro part that connects to the rag joint, but the shaft part is from the steering system that I'm using. It's a special spline count with a flat and a place for a bolt. I could get a machine shop to make one for me, but it was actually cheaper just buy an old broken steering box, or not box, but rack and pinion off the internet, and just cut the shaft off for 20 bucks. So, you see here the McLeod hydraulic clutch that'll get plumbed up. But so what the steering goes to on the inside, so I've been spending a lot of time on the steering here. So what I've been doing for steering is I've purchased a steering column from, it's an Audi / VW steering column. I think it was about 60 bucks for the whole thing. And what I've done is I've adapted the original Camaro bracket. Anybody that knows what it originally looks like, you can see where I started with the modifications back here. What I've done is I've followed the same attachment scheme that they've had to Camaro with the two rods in the back. Those are the two original ones. And then what I did is I made my own two that bolt up and hold this steering column in place. I also had to make a, it's kind of hard to see, but there's a piece on this steering column that needs to be supported in the back. Need a bracket for that. But what this means is that this steering column, it has adjustability to it. So if you release the lever, you can move it up and down and in and out. So we'll have adjustability. Also, all the controls will be mounted on the steering column, again like a modern car. So I've already figured out all the wiring for the wipers, for the cruise control, which I'll have in here, the turn signals, all of that. I had to do a little detective work with all the different pieces. But so all of those will be column mounted now. So I won't have the wiper or anything like that mounted on the dash. You can also see I've removed the dash. I've drilled out all the spot wells and removed it. Tried to preserve the brackets and keep them clean so that I can use them for mounting of the new dash I'm working on. So for the interior, what I'm putting in is a late model Camaro interior. So you can see the center console here. I'm kind of doing a test fit of it, see where it falls. I've already got the seats. They look good. I've got the door panels. That's going to be kind of interesting because since they're a lot of plastic, it's more difficult to modify. But got the back seat in here. Trying to figure out. I need to remove some foam so it sits a little lower. Probably build up the bottom. And that's pretty much the progress to date. The other, I guess, last thing I wanted to point it out was, again, for the mirrors, I'm going to be going with late model Camaro rear view mirrors. So I've stripped this back a little bit. You can see the different layers of Bondo. But what I'm getting ready to do is strip the rest of the car. There isn't much left to take out: the rear gas tank, rear axle, stereo system in the back. Not too much. And I'm going to send it out for media blasting, and that'll tell me, you know, what parts are really bad and which ones aren't. So we'll see when I get it back what panels need to be replaced, things of that nature. But so the next time you see it, the whole body should be stripped. I don't know if I mentioned in the previous video or not, but I am going to do the mini tubs. Probably going to do a 4-link also, but we'll see what the body comes back, like which panels need to be replaced. At the same time, I'll probably do the mini tubs. So that's it for now. It should pretty much bring everybody up to date. Sorry it takes me so long to do these, but when I finally get around to it, it seems to be about every 6 months. I don't plan it that way, but it just kind of works out. So hopefully it won't be 6 months. But talk to you later.